G'day, and welcome back to Let's Keep It Real. People of Australia, this one is about your children. On the 18th of July, 2026, just days ago, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced the establishment of a National Islamophobia Education Task Force. This task force will review the Australian curriculum. It will train teachers. It will operate across every level of our education system. From early childhood through schools, all the way to universities, it follows the government's decision to adopt 35 out of 54 recommendations from its special envoy to combat Islamophobia, a 200-page report calling for a whole-of-society response spanning government, law, health, education, media, sport, and political culture. And it comes with $66 million of your tax money attached. Before you decide how you feel about that, let me tell you what is actually going into your child's classroom. The word at the center of all of this is Islam. And to understand why this matters in a classroom, you need to understand what Islam actually is. In the West, we think of religion as something personal, something you practice at home or at church, something separate from law, government, and how society is run. Islam is different. It has a word for itself, deen. And deen does not mean religion in the Western sense. Deen means a complete system. It covers law, government, education, family structure, social relations, economics, everything. When deen enters a curriculum, it does not arrive as one faith sitting alongside others. It arrives as a complete alternative framework for how society should be organized. Christianity in schools teaches values. Deen teaches governance. That is a fundamentally different thing, and every Australian parent deserves to know the difference. Now let me tell you what the Islamophobia framework does inside a school. The task force will train teachers to recognize, prevent, and respond to Islamophobia in their classrooms. It will establish reporting mechanisms for Islamophobia incidents. It will review the national curriculum to ensure, and I am quoting directly, Muslim histories, cultures, and contributions are accurately represented. It will give stronger protections for students' religious expression, including dress and prayer. On the surface, tolerance, respect, inclusion. Most Australians support those things. But here is what it also does. It puts every teacher on notice that critical discussion of Islamic doctrine carries professional risk. A teacher who wants to honestly discuss the doctrinal basis of terrorism now has to navigate whether that constitutes Islamophobia. A teacher who wants to present Islamic texts critically alongside other religious texts, same problem. This is not education. It is a chilling effect on the truth. Australia is not the first country to travel this road. Britain got there first, and Britain has a warning for us. In Birmingham in 2014, a systematic attempt by Islamist networks to take over ordinary state schools was uncovered. It became known as the Trojan Horse Scandal. What investigators found was not happening in Islamic schools. It was happening in regular Birmingham state schools with majority Muslim student populations. Non-Muslim teachers were pushed out. Girls were separated from boys. Evolution was removed from science classes. Islamic prayer was made compulsory. Extremist guest speakers were invited in. Britain's School Inspection Authority, Ofsted, confirmed this across 21 schools. The entry point was exactly what Australia is now creating, curriculum review processes with Islamic community input. The Trojan horse did not arrive with a battering ram. It arrived with a review committee. There is something else in this report worth naming plainly. The special envoy recommends the national curriculum include Muslim contributions to Australia, Western civilization, and the development of universal values. No equivalent recommendation exists for Christian contributions, or Jewish contributions, or Buddhist contributions, or Indigenous contributions. One faith, special status in a national curriculum funded by your taxes. Meanwhile, the same report notes that 35% of Australians said they held negative views of Muslims in 2025. The report treats this as evidence of a crisis requiring a $66 million government response. Here's another way to read that number. After everything Australians have witnessed, Cronulla, Martin Place, Parramatta, and years of international attacks, 65% of Australians still hold no negative views of Muslims. That is not a nation gripped by Islamophobia. That is a nation of extraordinary patience and goodwill. What Australian children will now be taught, Islam deserves special protection from criticism. Questioning Islamic doctrine is a form of bigotry. Religious tolerance means Islamic sensitivity takes priority. What Australian children will not be taught, that Islam contains a doctrine called deen, a complete system of governance. That classical Islamic scholarship teaches the world is divided into the House of Islam and the House of War, right? That every Western nation that has pursued this same path has ended up with parallel societies, retreating law, and suppressed truth. Our children deserve better than a curriculum designed to close questions rather than open them. I want to be clear about something. Muslim children in Australian schools deserve to be safe. They deserve to be treated with dignity. No child should be bullied for their faith. That is not what this is about. This is about whether a government has the right to use public education to place one religion's doctrine beyond scrutiny. That is not tolerance. That is preference. And in a democracy, preference is something we are allowed to question. The conversation our government is trying to end in your child's classroom, we will keep having it here. In the Bible, the prophet Isaiah lived in a time when leaders called uncomfortable truth dangerous and called silence wisdom. God had a different view. English Standard Translation says, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." Isaiah 5:20. New Living Translation reads, "Woe to those who say that evil is good and good is evil, that dark is light and light is dark, that bitter is sweet and sweet is bitter." Isaiah 5:20. And the Contemporary English Translation says, "You are in for trouble if you call evil good and good evil. If you call darkness light or darkness, if you call what is bitter sweet or what is sweet bitter." Isaiah 5:20. If this video gave you language for something you already felt, share it with every parent you know. Because what goes into your child's classroom today shapes the nation your grandchildren inherit tomorrow. Find us on YouTube at Let's Keep It Real 2026. Follow us on X and Facebook at Let's Keep It Real 2026. Till next time, this has been another video by the Let's Keep It Real team.